The Compass Route Protocol. The Compass Route Protocol is an advanced protocol designed for safe data encryption and validation. Originally designed as an alternative to the previous route calibration protocol, the Compass Route Protocol features significant improvements in the following areas. It's easier to understand and follow, it's harder to master and decrypt, and it simplifies the number of elements required to track. Each time you open the interface for the Compass Route Protocol, you will be greeted with 5 different parts: the grid, the compass, the string, the path, and an input box for submitting your response. The grid is a 25 unit by 25 unit square. You may notice that not all of the squares contain a number in them. This is intentional, as additional numbers outside of the scope of what is possible are irrelevant. For security purposes, the numbers in this version of the grid will be different than your interface. You may notice in the center of the grid, one square is a different color than the rest. This is the compass, responsible for helping you navigate the grid and draw your path. The color of the compass will change depending on what direction you must travel. If you forget which color corresponds to each direction, remember how the sun moves across the sky when facing north. Always start in the center when drawing your path. Speaking of the path, it's located to the right of the grid. The path is a randomly generated string that you must pay strict adherence to. If the path tells you to travel forward, you must travel in the same direction that the compass is pointing. If the path tells you to travel left, you must move one space to the left in accordance to whichever direction the compass is pointing. If the path tells you to travel right, you must move one space to the right in accordance to whichever direction the compass is pointing. Once you reach your end result, the string will give you special instructions on what to do next. The string is a randomly generated group of letters and numbers in random sequence. Please pay close attention to these instructions to better understand how the string works. If the string has more letters than numbers, check to see which direction the compass is pointing. If the compass is pointing to the north, check to see if the string's first and last instructions match, and instruct you to move right. If the first instruction matches the last instruction to move right, flip the last instruction and move left instead. Else, if the compass is pointing to the east, check to see if the string's first and last instructions match and instruct you to move right. If the first instruction matches the last instruction to move right, flip the last instruction and move left instead. Else, add the first number that you traversed on your path to your solution. If the string has more numbers than letters, check to see which direction the compass is pointing. If the compass is pointing to the west, check to see if the string's first and last instructions match. If the first instruction matches the last instruction, add the first number that you traversed on your path to your solution. When you have reached the end of the path and made all necessary changes up to this point, read the number inside of the designated coordinates. This is your solution and what you should put into the input box. However, we're not done yet. There are still a few more calculations we need to do. From this point forward, always round down when dividing. If the string ends in an odd number, take the first available number in the string, divide it by 2, and add that number to your solution. In the event that the string does not contain any numbers, do nothing. Else, if the string ends in an even number, take the first available number in the string, divide it by 2, and subtract that number to your solution. In the event that the string does not contain any numbers, do nothing. Else, if the string ends in a letter, subtract the total letter count in the string from the number count in the string. This number may be negative. Then, check to see if the string begins with a vowel. For logistical purposes, the letter Y is not considered a vowel, even if the string contains no other vowels in it. If the string begins with a vowel, subtract the difference in letter and number counts from your solution. Else, if the string begins with a consonant, add the difference in letter and number counts from your solution. Else, if the string does not start with a letter, do nothing. Then, look at the compass. The compass will always contain a predetermined number, dependent on compass direction. add that number to your solution. Then, divide your solution by 2 and round down. If the solution is less than 1, the solution then becomes exactly 1. The number you have now is your final solution. Enter your final solution in the input box provided. If you are incorrect, the page will display a warning message. Then, we'll generate a new string, compass, and path on page refresh. If you are correct, you will gain access to As I lay still, surrounded by the silence of piercing dark, I asked myself if there was anything on the other side of the veil. Would there be a place for someone like myself? They do not concern you, they say. Their needs are simple. Their motivations are to destroy us, bit by bit, until there is nothing left of us but old stories of what once was. They tell you what you need to know, what they want you to know, what they believe will serve your best interests while also serving theirs. They do not believe you will notice if anything were amiss. And if there is, they will tell you nothing is wrong. They will say you are fine. They will tell you what you must do. You must work hard to make money. You must work hard to raise families. You must work hard to continue your dreams. You must work hard to make us proud. You must work hard to follow orders. You must work hard to remain loyal to us, and us alone. Ignore the screams of the outside world. Ignore the pleas and calls for help. Ignore the unjust suffering of others being silenced. They do not concern you, they say. Their motivations are to destroy us, bit by bit, until there is nothing left of us. And even so, all they will be is an old story of what once was. Ignore our crimes as we commit them. Ignore our attempts to run from accountability. Ignore our justice system, powerless as they may be to enforce against us. Ignore everyone, and just live out the ideal world of our dreams. Ignore how harder it's becoming to breathe easily. Ignore how harder it's becoming to afford your survival. Ignore how harder it is to sleep soundly. Ignore how our world is decaying by our own hands. Ignore how harder the pain of living has gotten. Ignore how we slaughter for our own dreams of utopia. Ignorance is bliss, they say. Ignorance is meaningful. Ignorance is a weapon if wielded properly. Ignorance is a state of mind, and they know this. Ignorance and silence. The two pair nicely together. Ignore the people willing to help. Ignore the people willing to make a difference. Ignore the people that try to support each other. Ignore the opinions of dissenters. Ignore the knife that dares cut your tongue, cut your voice for raising it. Ignore his gaze, and only listen to our pleas of him turning away from us in the first place. And yet, these feelings of sorrow, of confusion, of hate, of helplessness, of pain, internal as it may be, they can be ignored no longer. Yet my own tongue has been restrained, not of my own will. How much longer must I endure this pain? To ignore the problems as they arise and continue to fester? How much longer must my enemies control my own self in mind, body, and spirit? The light of hope is fading, the window closing further every second, and yet I cannot cry out. I cannot describe what misery I see in the pain of others, in the pain of myself. For if I did, will others ignore it too, I wonder? And when I have passed, will my enemies rejoice in how they have ignored us? Ignore our cries for a better life, ignore our calls for no pain? Or will they rewrite history to say that they have prevailed over us? That our motivations were nothing more than a cautionary tale of what once was? I cannot ignore this any longer, yet I cannot find peace and salvation. The pearly gates have long since closed, but my heart always strives to do good to those around me, to help others in need no matter what pain I find myself in. Alas, I cannot ignore the truth anymore. There is no place for me. Not one that I have found yet. You are now trained on the Compass Route Protocol. Thank you for watching. We'll see you Starside.